Hey everybody, Matt Doyon coming to you from Newton, Massachusetts on an unseasonably warm October day. And the topic du jour is everboarding. So this is a term that's thrown around quite a bit by our sales enablement folks, but not one that we use all that much in sales management. And it's starting to gain traction. We're starting to get caught up here. And there are really three pieces to think about when we start to understand enablement. Two of those pieces and two of the everboarding that's used is really functioning pretty well, and enablement has a seamless process to get those done. And the third piece is typically a disaster and a nightmare, and most enablement people will tell you it's the bane of their existence. So let's talk about all three. Number one is with new product rollouts. So this is one of the functional areas, and typically when there's something new that's coming out in the product or service, sales knows that they need to know it, they want to learn it, they want to talk about it with clients, so they typically attend those meetings, they learn the stuff that they need to, and they do the job. Also, there's the benefit that there's a very specific and near-term endpoint to those trainings, and that plays well with sales because they know they're not going to be embroiled in the training forever, so they kind of like that. Number two is with systems upgrades or tech stack upgrades. So when there's a new process, a new methodology, a new tool that's being used, or an addition to an existing tool, it usually falls on the shoulders of enablement through Everboarding to upgrade the team and update them and get all that information in the brains of the sales team. Not the sexiest training that typically is introduced to a sales team, but one, again, that they usually do attend, and there's not a lot of hardship to get them on board because, again, they need those tools to do their jobs. A lot of it ties directly into the adoption of the tool to begin with. But it's the third piece. That's the one that is really the one that weighs on the souls of everybody in enablement, and that's ongoing skills development. This is something that overwhelmingly sales teams do not engage with. They like to play the game and be on the calls and not practice and train for the calls. And historically, enablement through Everboarding has tried solving that with a broad knife, where they'll read the tea leaves, talk to managers, look at assessment reports, and try to understand where the team needs the help the most, and then build training or contract trainers to come in and help out to deliver that training. The problem is it misses the boat for what most reps are actually interested in, engaged with, and actually need, and it meets them too late in the process. Reps will think of those skills in the moment, and then 2 minutes after the deal is done and they lose it, they'll move on to the next one and they'll forget about why they lost it. Now enablement is doing something really interesting to solve that broad knife problem and turn it into a scalpel. It has to do with call scoring. So AI has now introduced us to a whole new world and a capability of reading a call, processing it through a custom scorecard, so we don't have to wait for a manager to do that work, spinning up a report, taking that report, consolidating them into skills reports, and then using the skills reports to match training to exactly what reps need, when they need it, how they need it. So if a rep sucks at negotiation skills, they could see that in the call report and know exactly where the rep needs to go and what they need to build in order to get them there. Look at that guy. Oh yeah. Halloween in New England, you gotta love it. So now we're able to take specific skills based on call performance, read them, and deliver the everboarding rep by rep in order to get the right training to the right rep at the right time based on their skills. The last piece of this, and it's a little hidden bonus, because AI is now reading the calls and scoring them, not only is enablement now customizing the everboarding to the rep, it's also measuring whether or not that everboarding is actually having the intended effect. So if a rep needs to do better with quantifying impact, the training is focused on quantifying impact, the coaching is focused on quantifying impact, and the follow-on measurement is not on a conversion metric or a revenue metric. It's on whether or not the rep is quantifying impact on those follow-on calls. Exciting time. That's all I got for you. See you in the next one.